Hi guys, welcome to our first ever top 10 list. Today we're going to be covering the top 10 dropped catches that cost Pakistan in tournament games. Now, if you've been watching cricket long enough, you'll have heard the phrase catches win matches more times than you can probably count. But it's true. And if you want the most recent example of that, look no further than Sky's incredible catch to win India their first trophy in a decade. Pakistan, on the other hand, have a long and pretty painful history of dropping catches at crucial moments. So, if you're a Pakistan cricket fan, get the tissue box ready and let's get right into it. Number 10. Asif Ali drops Aaron Finch. Now, at the 2019 World Cup, Pakistan started slowly, but they entered the tournament as the most informed team, and they even managed to beat both finalists. They just missed out on qualifying for the semi-finals, but the story could have been very different. Against Australia, Asif Ali dropped Aaron Finch in the slips when the opener was on 37. He went on to score 82 and Pakistan lost the match by 41 runs. The bowler, by the way, was none other than Wahab Riaz, a name you're going to be hearing a lot more on this list. But hey, it's not all bad. At least we got this guy. All thanks to Asif Ali dropping his second catch of the day to lead off David Warner, who also happens to be next on this list. Number 9. Osama Mir drops David Warner. At the 2023 World Cup, Pakistan were off to a decent start and even managed to chase the highest ever total in World Cup history. Once again though, they ended up as best of the rest, just behind New Zealand. But it could all have been very different if Osama Mir had just held on to this catch of Shaheen's bowling. David Warner at the time was on just 10 and he would go on to absolutely destroy the Pakistani bowling attack on his way to 163. That's right, 153 extra runs. 153. That has to be some kind of record. Anyways, Pakistan went on to lose the match by 62 runs, and Australia would go on to win the whole thing. Number 8. Usman Khan drops Rishabh Pant. The first Pak-India match to feature on this list, and of course, it's not going to be the last. In the 2024 World Cup, Pakistan had already suffered a shocking loss to the US in the first match. But against India, they bounced back with an exceptional bowling performance led by Mohammad Amir to bowl the eventual champions out for 119. But that total could have been even lower if Usman Khan had held on to this tough chance of Amir's bowling with Pant on just 4 at the time. He would go on to ride his luck to top score for India with 42 runs on a tough pitch, and Pakistan would somehow choke and lose the match by 6 runs. Number 7. Abdul Razak drops Sachin Tendulkar. Now, this won't be the last time you hear about Sachin on this list, but it is the oldest drop we have here, going all the way back to the 2003 World Cup. Back then, the Pak-India World Cup jinx wasn't really a thing, and it could very well have been nipped in the bud if Abdul Razak had held on to this chance of Wasim Akram's bowling, with Tendulkar on 32 at the time. India were chasing 273, and Tendulkar would go on to smash 98 runs off just 75 balls as they cruised home by 6 wickets. Now, just because we wanted to feature Virat Kohli somewhere on this list, here's a bonus drop that you probably forgot about. Yasir Shah drops Virat Kohli. The 2015 Pak-India World Cup clash wasn't a particularly memorable encounter, but it did feature Virat Kohli getting his second century against Pakistan. Now that almost didn't happen because on 28 he pulled Shahid Afridi to Yasir Shah, who was unable to take what would have been a spectacular diving catch at deep mid-wicket. Kohli went on to get 107, India would go on to win the match pretty comfortably by 76 runs, and no one would ever drop a catch off Afridi ever again. Never ever ever. Now, the next entries are all from knockout matches, and some had direct implications on Pakistan winning trophies. Before we get to them though, do make sure to show us some love by liking this video and subscribing to the Cricket Tapes. Now, back to the list. Number 6. Rahat Ali drops Shane Watson. The 2015 Pakistan team was one of the weakest the 1992 champions had ever put out. They somehow managed to scrape through to the quarterfinals, where they were bowled out for an under par 213 by Australia. Now, rumour has it that the slip fielders, including Mitchell Starc, had taunted Wahab Riaz at some point while he was batting. We should probably thank them because they inadvertently gave us one of the fiercest World Cup spells ever bowled, as a fired-up Wahab bowled bullets for 5 straight overs. With the wily Misbah setting the field, Wahab had already picked up 2 wickets, and it looked like Watson was destined to be the third, until Rahat Ali dropped the simplest chance on this list. Watson has struggled to 4 runs of 15 deliveries by this point, but after this reprieve, he would go on to take Australia home with an unbeaten 64. He was joined by Glenn Maxwell, who scored 44 after also being dropped off the unlucky Wahab by Sohail Khan when he was just on 5. Number 5. Hassan Ali drops Matthew Wade. The 2021 T20 World Cup was a strange one. The chasing teams won pretty much every match, and for once, Pakistan even beat India. Pakistan's semi-final against Australia, though, was the same old story. Chasing 177 to win, Australia found themselves at 96 for 5 after Shadab Khan picked up 4 wickets. Going into the 19th over, they still needed 22 runs to win. And with his third ball, Shaheen Afridi had Matthew Wade sky his shot, only for Hassan Ali to become the latest Ali to drop a World Cup catch against the Aussies. Wade would go on to hit the next 3 balls for 6 to finish the match, and Australia would go on to win the trophy in the final against New Zealand. Number 4. Everyone drops Sachin Tendulkar. The 2011 semi-final in Mohali was the moment many Pakistani fans just gave up on cricket. And honestly, can you really blame them? When you give Sachin Tendulkar of all people 5 lives on his way to scoring 85. The first was at 23, when he was given out LBW of Saeed Ajmal, but the decision was controversially overturned by DRS. Then, on 27, Misbah-ul-Haq started the party by dropping the great man at mid-wicket of Shahid Afridi. This was followed by Yunus Khan, dropping him on 44, once again off Afridi. The Akmal brothers joined in the fun, dropping Sachin at 70 and 81 off the third time unlucky Afridi and Mohammad Hafiz. It took Afridi literally taking matters into his own hands to finally dismiss Tendulkar at 85. But by this time, the damage was already done, and Pakistan would go on to lose the match by 29 runs. Number 3. Umar Akmal drops Lahiru Tharimane. Now, if you thought you'd heard the last of the Akmal brothers, well, guys, it is a video about dropped catches, so of course you're going to find a few Akmals in there. Now this one is our first final on the list, and is from the 2014 Asia Cup, where Pakistan entered as defending champions. This tournament is fondly remembered for a couple of legendary performances from Shahid Afridi. In the final against Sri Lanka, however, Pakistan found themselves at 18 for 3, but recovered to post a competitive but under par 260. Pakistan couldn't afford mistakes in the field, but they ended up making exactly those, with Umar Akmal dropping Lahiru Tharimane on 36. He would go on to score 101 as Sri Lanka became Asian champions for the 5th time. Number 2. Shadab Khan drops Bhanuku Rajapaksa. The 2022 Asia Cup final seemed to have Pakistan's name written all over it, once they had Sri Lanka reeling at 58 for 5. However, Rajapaksa and Hasaranga put up a rearguard action to keep them in the game. Rajapaksa's plan was to take the game deep before teeing off. But that plan almost failed when he skied a shot of Haris Rauf, only for Pakistan's best fielder, Shadab Khan of all people, to drop it. He made the most of this reprieve, going on to hit 25 runs off his next 12 balls on his way to an unbeaten 71. Pakistan ended up choking in the chase and went on to lose the match by 23 runs, crowning Sri Lanka as Asian champions for the 6th time. Number 1. Mohammad Hafiz drops Rohit Sharma. The first ever T20 World Cup in 2007 featured 2 epic contests between Pakistan and India. And while everyone remembers Misbah's infamous scoop, what has been lost with time is the reason he had to play that shot in the first place. And that involves a young Rohit Sharma playing his first ever tournament and fresh off a man of the match performance in the semi-final. Bowling first, Pakistan had done well to restrict India at the tail end of the innings, but Rohit smashed a quick-fire 30 of just 16 balls to take the total to 157. However, things could have been very different if Mohammad Hafiz had held on to this running catch off the bowling of Sohail Tanveer in the final over. Not only was Hafiz unable to hold on, he actually ended up pushing the ball over the ropes for 6. Rohit, instead of being dismissed, was able to take 11 runs off his final 4 deliveries. In the end, India would go on to win the match by 5 runs and become the first ever T20 World Champions. So, there you have it, Pakistan's top 10 costliest drops in tournament matches. Which one traumatized you the most? Let us know in the comments, and we'll see you next time with more cricket tapes.